There's that. They told them to do something like this. Watch it.
After folks. Make it. You'll have like. Jesus.
So I'm building it up next to the road.
The other way, I got it.
It is kind of deceiving.
Yeah, I could.
Well, that's what I went to go do when the guy saw the way.
Everybody on trial.
You should also examine.
You bring it down to the north.
I'm so some of it, I am.
He doesn't go.
That's sweet. It doesn't come back.
Yeah.
And check what you do.
No.
And how is the residuals here?
Yes.
It won't go anymore, so this is on. It's
I know, but you look right like that, so relax.
See you later.
Yeah, thank you. Good. Goes. Okay. Bring the meeting to order. Entertain motion in a minute. Callista Cross. You're next.
I live down in Cornish and I've been doing this project for a couple of years. And for the past couple of months, it's worked out very well. So I wanted to come to Brownfield to tell you what I'm doing and see if the select people and the townspeople are interested in what I'm doing. That I've been going around to the different towns, and so far I've got 4 towns that have approved of naming a bridge in their town after our veterans. And the state only needed an approval letter, which so far I've got 4 approval letters from Leamington, Hiram, Limerick, Baldwin, I think it is. So I came up to Brownfield, and I'm kind of a native to Brownfield because I had married someone from Brownfield years ago, so I know the territory a little bit. So I went around looking at your bridges here to see what would be a good bridge to be named and see what you would think of it. And so I saw this one down on Route 113, and its bridge number is 5860, and it's on Pequawket Trail, and it's called the new 10-mile brook. And if you wanted to change that name, that you could call it the Brownfield Veterans Memorial Bridge. And this is something that DOT would put the signs up, and I have a picture, a sample of what it would look like, or it would have whatever you decide to name it. Yeah, thank you. And
Yeah.
and if you wanted to read it, the new 10-mile bridge, you could still add in the veteran's name. So it'd be called the 10-mile Veterans Memorial Bridge, if you wanted to keep the name that's already there. And it's up to you. There's 3 towns that I've got selectmen and had meetings with them, and they right away approve a letter and send it to the state without a town meeting. But you can do a town meeting and have your townspeople vote on it. I actually went to Porter Saturday, and they approved it. The townspeople approved it. And I went to Hiram town meeting, and they let the people in the town vote on it, and it went over big time, they voted it in. The thing with Porter, because they share it with another town, the bridge is shared by another town, so I have to wait for, Parson Field to vote on it.
Yeah.
And so they could, if they wanted to, the select people could, just approve it now that Porter has approved it. And their bridge would be, it's, called the Keys Falls Bridge. And so we didn't want to take away that name. And so we're naming it the Keys Falls Veterans Memorial Bridge. So both towns agreed to that. And so, and then Parson Field has the choice of waiting and doing their meeting in September to vote on it, let the townspeople vote on it. Or they can go along with what Porter has approved of and just, have an approval letter sent to the state without a town meeting.
Okay.
So,
And it won't be any cost to the town. This is something that DOT will be doing, and the picture I showed you, they'll put signs up on each end of the bridge. And why I was kind of, spreading this news out to Parson Field is because the session with the state ends April 15th. So in order to get it in this year, they would have to get an approval letter to the state by then. And because Parson Field do not have their meeting until September, it's gonna go into 2025. So they have that option, whatever they want to do. And so if you saw people are interested in this, then just let me know what you think and we'll see what we can do.
I've only got one question.
Okay,
Where it's on a state highway and it's a state bridge, they still require our approval in order to do it?
absolutely. Hey,
Yeah.
this is one of the first things I went through because I didn't know how it was gonna go through and I got a little upset with, there was one select person that didn't think this was right and so I said to the, his name is, Ben Chipman. He's the chairperson of the transportation committee, and he's the one I've been working with on all of this. And so I said to him, why have you got to have anybody's approval? Well, this bridge is going to the state, but they want to be fair about it. And they want to step on anybody's toes, so I'm telling you out there just what I was told, so I guess it makes good sense, you know, they don't want to have any arguments with all the towns, they might need your help sometime.
Okay.
I got no problem with the Brownfield Veteran Bridge, I don't know where the new 10 mile came from. But the history of the name, whether the state just put that in, or if somebody,
I don't even think it's marked now, is it?
No, it's not marked now.
I don't have a problem with it.
I'd like to add to that, I actually looked up, you can go online and research. And if you put in, DOT bridges, Maine.gov, and that's where I got this 10 mile name from, because there's no name down there on the bridge, so.
Right.
So that's what I'm going by, is what was under the list of DOTs.
It goes over 10 Mile Brook, that's probably why.
So it might just to identify it.
Yeah.
That's an assumption, but I don't have any problem. Making Brownfield Veteran Bridge.
So do we need to write a letter, or do you write a letter and we sign it? How do you?
Okay, I've got the gentleman's name again, it's Senator Chipman, and you have to send the letter to
Okay.
the state, you make it up, send it to him. And I can leave information with your office, or I can email, you all this when I get back home.
Sure.
And then you have to tell them what the name of the bridge is that you want, and the bridge location, which that number I gave you is what you can use for the location. And then just send it to, it will go up to Augusta, and then it will be there for them to finish it out. That's all you have to do.
Okay.
Or let Lavina do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is that a motion?
I make a motion that we name the new 10 mile bridge, the Brownfield Veterans Memorial Bridge.
second.
All in favor? Yep. Yep, we'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So,
Nice thing to do.
Very good, yeah.
Thank you. everybody.
Well,
I-
have you got our email address so you can send it information to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be in there.
I
Yeah,
can
okay.
Site.
Yeah, try to read some of your lips.
And thank you for that. I really appreciate that, because it doesn't always go this easy, I can tell you. Especially in my own hometown, believe it or not, I've been there almost 82 years and they kind of balked up, not the people, but select people a little bit, so we're working on it, so we'll get it sometime.
Yeah.
I don't give up very easy, especially when it comes to our veterans, so.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I'll be real quick, because I know there's a lot of people here that's got a lot to talk to you about. I'm a member of Honor Flight Maine, and I don't know if anybody's heard of Honor Flight Maine. And what we do is we send our veterans on a free trip to Washington DC to see all the memorials. And they go for free. And our organization, we help to raise the money. WCSH TV, you might have seen on TV, they have raised like over $200,000 this past year to help the veterans go on a free trip. And so this year we have got 6 trips going,
Wow.
which is the largest we've had since I've been with them, and I've been with them for almost 4 years. And so I'm gonna leave a pamphlet with you, select people, and you can go over this, and if you've got any veterans that you know of that would be interested in going on a trip for free, they need to get their name on the list, and there's a phone number and an email address on this pamphlet. Or you can go online and go onto Honor Flight Maine and look up application and go online and fill out. And anybody here, you can do the same thing and tell all of your veterans that you know. And if you're a veteran yourself, you can sign up for it. And then they'll need a guardian to go with them. And we like to have a family member go with them if they would like to go as a guardian and push them around wheelchairs. Some of the veterans can walk some, so they don't always want to stay in the wheelchair. So the organization does let them get up and walk around when they feel like getting up. But most of these guys and ladies, we have one lady that was 102 that went, and God bless her, and she had her memory and everything. And I went over and talked to her before she left, before she got on the plane. And I said to her, I said, what do you think about going on this flight? She said, I thought they would never ask me to go. She said, she said,
Yeah.
she had a great time. But anyway, you get a family member can go as a guardian, or a friend can go as a guardian. And if they don't have a guardian, then the organization has a list of people that wants to go as a guardian. A guardian has to pay $500 to go, but that pays their plane flight on Southwest Airline. It pays for their hotel and all the meals, and then of course they get to go around to all the memorials, pushing their veteran around. So they will start in with the trips in April. We got 2 coming up, and from what I understand from the chairperson, those are all booked up. But I'll send you the next times that they go. So if they also do this, it doesn't have to be just World War II veterans. They start with them and go down. And we are looking for World War veterans all the time, because we know that time is limited, we have to be honest about it. And so we have sent people that was in the Korean War. And no, you don't have to be in the war, the Korean era and the Vietnam era, and all the way down. And if any of these soldiers have any disabilities, they look into that too, above others, so they can get to go. And it's a great trip. They go from Friday to Sunday. And if anybody has a chance, and again, I'll send you the information. When they come back on Sunday, they give them a parade inside of the jetport in Portland. And young veterans of family, kids can be involved in it if they want to in the parade. And at the end of it is when our veterans come in the line. sit in their wheelchairs, and there's music, it's just wonderful. It's just so appreciative to see what they've done for us. And some of them get crying, and you get crying with them, because it's just so wonderful. So you can come and watch them when they come in. We have a lot of people that comes to that when they come back from their trip, so. So I don't know if you've got any questions or not. Yeah,
So,
thank you, my delivery girl.
Thank
There is a place on there, if anybody wanted to donate, they can, but. Cause somebody asked me, well, is this for me to donate? I says, no, I don't do that for the donations, but anybody can if they want to. I'm just passing out the flyer for the address, the phone number, and getting those veterans on that free trip. That's my interest in that.
Yeah, thank you.
The only question I had about renaming the bridge.
Yeah.
Which doesn't bother me a bit about renaming it, is it gonna put town. On the hook for where it's in Brownfield, that is a veterans bridge, we have to. Mow it to an inch, that's what we have to do with cemeteries.
No,
Stuff like that.
It's just a bridge on 113, they do not even side.
Yeah, okay, no, I just create that.
Bruce?
whereas other towns have voted on it, would it be wise for this town to vote on it too?
It's been done both ways. I don't think anybody in the town is gonna complain.
It's a great idea.
It's nothing, doesn't cost the town anything, I mean, it's just a name. You know, and a little bit of honor.
And DOT does take care of it, where the state owns the bridges, they will take care of the signs, so if anything happens to them, they'll replace them or whatever needs to be done.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, you're up.
Okay, excuse me. My name is Joe Higgins and I'm the director for the State of Maine Snowmobile Program. And the reason I'm here is Dick had asked me to come talk a little bit about the municipal grant. My understanding is that the snowmobile club, is there any snowmobile club members here?
Oh, the guy actually, Sean, that put the thing in, had a meeting tonight, so he couldn't make it either.
Oh, okay. So I'll explain the municipal grant then, and then I'll let the select people decide, someone decide how you want to manage that. So the club right now, the local snowmobile club receives a club grant. So we have two different grants. We have the club grant, which is more of a localized grant, and then we have a municipal grant that we work with the towns with, whether it be the town, the county, unorganized territories, things like that. The difference between the two is in this snowmobile clubs, they manage around 68 miles, right there somewhere. And the club grants help up to 30 miles of trails. So they're actually taking care of a lot more trails than they're eligible for grant funding. And so if the town supported a municipal grant, then there's the possibility that they could get some more funding to maintain the bridges, to maintain grooming equipment, buy fuel, and whatever it is they need to manage and maintain the trails in this area. And so it gives them a little bit of flexibility. I work directly with them on municipal grants and club grants. So there's not a cost to the town. And it's basically gives us the opportunity to be able to adjust funding if they have we'll just say we have a bridge that blows out. We all know the weather lately has not been very conducive to snowmobiling. It's been a tough season this year here, especially. But the weather has been crazy, let's face it, especially in Western Maine. With the municipal grant, we have some flexibility there to be able to help a club with a little more funding to maybe repair a bridge or replace a bridge. But with a club grant, based on statute, we're limited. We can only be able to fund up to $6,300. And with today's expenses, that's one bridge. Let's face it, just buying the lumber for it. So we're running into this everywhere where clubs are reaching out and asking if they can be eligible for the municipal grant instead of the club grant, because it's one or the other. And then they would come up with all the paperwork. I did bring, a sample of all the paperwork, which I'll leave with you. That way somebody can look it all over, and if there's questions, by all means, my phone number's on here, my email's on here. You'd be dealing directly with our office anyway. But our whole goal is to help local clubs keep going. And right now, the way the cost of everything is going, that's getting tougher and tougher. And to keep all these trails intact, we really kind of focus on keeping communities connected. You know, it's good for the economy. Just for an example, an economic impact study was done, and snowmobiling brings around $700 million to the state of Maine, statewide. And so without having that sport and that recreation, it can be a huge impact to certain areas, obviously. But I've always thought that regardless of whether you're a large club or a small club, they're all important. Regardless, you know, they're all a piece of the connection. And when you start taking cogs out of the wheel ends up falling apart. And so our goal at our level is to try to help clubs as much as we can. So I was asked to come over and answer any questions that you all might have. The funding comes from, and we receive designated revenue. We receive nothing from the general fund. Our program is 100% the registration that come in, the money that comes in from snowmobile registrations. We do get a very small percentage of the gas tax when they're buying, you know, fuel for the sleds and everything, and the grooming equipment. But pretty much all of it comes from when somebody goes and registers those snowmobiles. So, and then the clubs rely a lot on fundraisers to make up the difference, because our programs are in aid. We help offset the cost, but unfortunately, with the way registrations and the cost of registrations, it doesn't cover all the costs. So a lot of the clubs do all kinds of other things to be able to make it work. If it wasn't for the volunteers, if it wasn't for the landowners number one, and then volunteers number two, we wouldn't have this sport in Maine. And that's a huge economic trend for the state and for local municipalities. So anyway, I brought that stuff with me, but I'm going to open it up for any questions that you folks might have. But I'm only a phone call away as well, so more than happy to help you out.
It's gonna be a hard sell. We couldn't even get our fire department on municipal last year.
Or on the,
Municipal fire department.
oh really?
We couldn't
Is that through MDOT?
It's, yeah, what I'm saying, we're gonna give it a shot,
Yeah,
but it's gonna be educational
right,
in writing. We'll put an article in. It's gonna be a hard sell.
yeah,
We've gotta get our ducks in a row.
yeah.
I guess question.
Yeah.
So how much is it gonna cost the municipality? Does it cost us anything as taxpayers?
No, it's basically, it's.
Well, you said municipality grant, so that's why I asked.
Oh, okay, yeah, with any grant, there's a match, but the clubs come up with that.
Okay.
It's, I've never gone into a town meeting or a county meeting and expected funds from any of those organizations. And I totally understand why. I pay taxes too. So it's mostly, a lot of, some towns do contribute, like Rangeley, for example, you know, and some of the towns that really rely on snowmobile as part of their business plan, the townspeople will contribute X amount of tax dollars, but the majority of them do not. Okay. So the club comes up with whatever matches are needed, mostly with volunteer labor hours as an in-kind, and or donation. So they can, for example, a club could go out and say, go to a lumber yard and get some donated lumber or whatever it might be. They can use that as a match. Yep. So if a lumber yard gives them $500 worth of bridge material, they can claim that for that match on the grant. So other than a little bit of time from the selectmen or whoever it might be, and even that, you as a select board could vote in a project director. So I usually work with the project director, whoever that might be. It could be a club member, it could be the club president or the treasurer, that you all say, all right, you get the paperwork ready, you go over it, you have all the invoices, you put everything together, we'll look it over and sign off on it. And you can do that. I would just need a letter from the town saying, you tell me who you want me to work with. Am I gonna work with a select person? Am I gonna work with a town manager? Am I gonna work with a project director from the actual, the snowmobile club itself? I leave that up to the towns to tell me who I'll be working with. And I totally get it. It's brand new. There's a huge, not huge, but there is a learning curve. obviously like with any grant. But we do try to streamline it. Our office, I'm a advocate of, as less red tape as possible. You know, I try to make things easy for the clubs out there statewide. I manage to deal with 300 snowmobile clubs state, throughout. And I've been there now 23 years. And every grant that I've been a part of, we've eliminated a lot of the stuff that
Sounds like a fantastic program.
it is. It gives us the flexibility of increasing funding when it's available to help clubs offset the. And the cost of everything today, over the last 4 or 5 years is just incredible. Clubs are reporting around $8 million every year just in materials statewide. And I've got about $4 or $5 million to work with, so I'm not even coming close to covering what they're coming up with, but we do our best to try to do that. And every area is a little bit different. But I'm willing to work with anybody that but I do need the town support, obviously. And
Bruce?
Well, on the grant, as far as municipalities go, any grant money, would it be spent specifically in Brownfield, or would it be deemed into the club's best interest to spend it anywhere they want to?
well, I would say most of it.
I'm saying all.
Okay, all of it probably depends on whether the club has trails that go outside of the town's boundaries.
No, yeah.
If they don't, then,
Everything we spent in Brownfield.
okay, so then all of it would go to ground.
Yes. Yeah.
But we do have some municipalities, especially when I'm dealing with the counties, because the counties go into unorganized territories and then also into organized territories, so they cross over boundaries all the time. And so we work with them with a municipal grant that way too. It's not bound just for the boundaries of that municipality. Because what's happening is, clubs are struggling. Volunteers aren't knocking down the doors to come and help, whether it be in the hospitals or, even volunteering to help in anything really.
So Sockeye Valley took over.
Sockeye Valley took over Hiram.
Yeah.
Correct. So I worked with them to get a municipal grant
Mhm.
because they did go over the boundaries of their own town. In order to keep that major trail system together, that's what we had to do.
Yeah.
And so I worked.
And
with
this
them.
is a pass through. The club does the work.
Yep.
And all it's a check, just come to the town and the town passes it, same as Inland Fisheries does with the registration.
That's right.
It's a pass through, it's not, the town has any responsibility in it.
Right, and that's what we need to understand. That's just like the fire municipal. It was just false information that failed it.
Mhm.
So we just need it in writing, simplified exactly what it is. Are we liable, not liable, insurances, if there's no liability?
No liability.
It's
The state picks that up.
It does. We actually have a liability. So landowners who have trails on their property, our program purchases a liability insurance. So it protects the landowner. And I'm not saying, I can't sit and tell you that, you can't be sued. We can be sued about anything, it seems like these days. However, the state of Maine has a risk management landowner liability insurance in place, but they also have a law in place that protects the private landowner from being sued. I'm not saying you can be sued, but let us know about it, especially if it has to do with a trail that you've been kind enough to let us use your property to put a trail on, a recreational trail. The state of Maine will do everything it can to protect you from any of that.
That'll encourage landowners a lot.
Exactly. Right, it's Title 14. There has been cases that have gone to the AG's office over the last 50 years. But I will tell you that they have never lost a case. The state of Maine has never lost a case.
Any questions? Bruce?
In the wintertime, if some hooligans get on the trail and start getting off the trail and doing what they do, does your club insurance cover that, the damages?
So there's a new law that just was implemented this year. I don't know if you've seen the new signs or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a new law that just was voted on this year that prohibits off-trail riding where it's not wanted. That has given law enforcement the tools to basically summons them on the spot, once they find out who it is. And yes, we do have insurance in place, so if somebody goes off trails and damages somebody's property, we have tools in place to help that private landowner.
Well, and that's one of the complaints I heard of from a lot of the landowners, was the hooligans getting off trail, doing just what they wanna do on their property when they, they're not being very nice to the landowners. is
Yeah.
all I'm trying to say.
No,
It just takes one or two to spoil it for everybody.
it really
And
does.
most of these snowmobiles that I see aren't native, they're from across the border, they come in and do everything in this town that they can't do in their town, so
Mhm.
that's why there's so much problem or friction.
Yeah, no, and I totally understand that, and I can see why a landowner would say, no, you can't have a trail, you know, on my property for that reason. And, you know, I can't sit here and say we catch every one of them, but we do have better tools in place today than we had last year.
Mhm.
And so just notify our office or notify the local warden service, they'll put up cameras, they'll, especially in problematic areas where there's consistently a problem, they'll actually start doing detail in those areas.
Well, some of them are just here for one weekend and one weekend only.
It is tough to be at the, no doubt about it, it's tough to be at that particular spot when something happens.
That's why I was getting at the enforcement part. This town's got a habit of making things unenforceable, so to speak. It's
Mhm.
good ink on paper, but that's all it is. When it comes to enforcement, unless they off season, they can't do nothing about it, even if they're on the camera.
Well, that's why the law was put in place. The law was actually written by the Maine Warden Service. So that they could start, cracking down on off-trail riding.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
you're very welcome. I will leave the stuff with you guys, and that way if you go through my.
Well, we got some more, all of a sudden they woke up.
I've got phone numbers are all there, so.
When he's done.
Sorry.
Let's stay on the subject.
Easy.
Terry, you got something? Terry?
So these trails that you talk about, do they have to be marked specifically for it to keep on the trail when you're talking about off trail?
Mhm.
So if that trail is not marked, it may get off the track, if you will.
Mhm.
Is that considered off trail?
So you can actually, the town could actually vote to not allow off-trail riding. And then we would notify the local warden service, and we do have a new sign that goes up, and it doesn't have to be on every tree. I mean, I think there's horror stories about, well, the wardens can't do anything because the person who went off-trail riding didn't know they couldn't go off-trail riding. That's no longer flies anymore. So if somebody's caught in an area, and you could put a sign up at the road crossings of the trail system, or you could put a sign up at the intersections. They don't have to be every, 50 yards or whatever it is. They could be in that town on those road crossings at the intersections, and that's all they need. We don't need any more.
So if you were coming, let's say if you're coming into a field
Yes,
and you got a sign at the entrance to the field and you say, keep right. And then all of a sudden you start seeing everybody going left, right.
yep, the trail,
Be considered off trail.
right, that would be considered off trail. And we have the sign, I would have brought one with me and I didn't think through, but, this sign that we have is 18 by 18. And it basically just said, no, off-trail riding prohibited in this area. And if you have one, say in your field, that means stay on the trail. There'll be, so they did do some detail over in Porter a little while ago when we did have snow on the ground. They wrote 96 summons on a Saturday.
Wow.
So they're cracking down, and the word will get out quick that we've had enough. People don't want them in certain areas, they might not want them in agriculture, freshly planted trees and tree harvesting. And so the landowners have had it, the law was put in place to protect the landowners, the law enforcement wrote the law. And so I'm not sure what the total number of summonses written this year, but I'm sure it was a lot.
Yeah. Terry, you must have seen the ones that just say stay on my trail.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because we have those that we used for the last few years, and this is just another tool to help us.
Yeah, it's definitely different from just staying on Mark Trail. I mean, it's got the law written right on it. It's off-trail riding is prohibited in this area. And you don't, like I said, you don't need one on every 50 feet. You just need one at the beginning of the trail system or the end of the trail system, or in the field where they can see it. That's all you need. Then at that point, it's up to the rider to know what's going on.
I'll get it done.
Hold the rider accountable.
I'll get it done, not going long.
Yeah, no problem. We ordered 5,000 to start.
Okay. Good, good. Okay, that's it. Okay, Brian?
Yep, can you give me an update on the meeting that was had taken place last Thursday afternoon, next door to me, and why it was handled the way it was.
Remember report yet? Unless you,
No, we have requested that he send us a written report.
Okay, why was it handled the way it was handled? In that first meeting here, Frank, there was a group of people that who were agreed upon could be there. And nobody was notified or contacted or anything.
It was my understanding, Brian, I can't remember the guy's name, it was
Matt Randall,
Matt Randall was supposed to coordinate this meeting with Randy. That's how I would do him.
because nobody else was notified of that at all. Who can you tell
I
me
don't know.
Can you tell me who was in attendance?
It was me and Cindy and Matt
And Diane,
and Di.
and Randy.
landowners.
So they more or less just handed up to the wanted to be there and didn't allow the other people to be there.
From what I understood, that was Randy's call.
That's what I just told him.
I lived that.
Go ahead.
Randy, but Matt told me Randy did not want everybody traipsing on his property. So they could look for other faults.
Well, it was already agreed we weren't going on to his property. We were just gonna be there. And there was 2 or 3 people that could walk around and ask questions and the other people couldn't.
Well, we did a whole tour of his whole property, right, Frank?
So,
We did a whole tour of his whole property. And then Randy allowed us to do the whole tour of his whole property, which he did not have to.
Has there anybody else in the town of Brownfield, not on my street, had issues with barking dogs at any time?
We haven't heard any.
these are very good questions.
Yeah, generator.
Generator, and when we did the tour, there was a dog barking.
Yeah, there was one dog barking because I was out in my yard working, I did that, and a half hour after Matt left, there was a whole chorus of dogs down there.
We heard, and
Well,
that one dog that was barking was not Randy's.
so none of his dogs, where was his dog when it was all taking place?
Frank, you heard the dog that was barking, it was not Randy's.
I also heard Randy's. dog
Yeah, and Randy's dogs
So
did
don't make
too.
it sound like it was.
He just said,
Yeah, yeah.
that one dog he was talking about,
Was not Randy, absolutely. They all don't stand right there beside him, so.
but we was also touring his property, which aggravates a dog.
Right.
Not knowing Matt Randall, not knowing me,
Right.
and why is Randy and everybody wandering all over the property? These dogs are going, what's going on?
I agree with you, Cindy, 100%. If I walk in my driveway, my own dog barks when I come in, so I know a dog's gonna bark if somebody's in that house. There's no question about that. So at the time of that meeting, I would say that then have to excuse the dog bark.
Guess we have to wait and see
I
what
would-
his report says.
Yeah, I would like to.
Was Matt gonna fill out a report?
He's gonna send us a,
Okay,
well, he's supposed to, let's put it that.
I'd like a
Send us
copy of that
written-
too.
Well, yeah, you definitely get,
I mean,
I'm sure Brian would love that.
yes, well, everybody should get one that's interested. Everybody should get one that's interested in this barking dog issue. But Matt only handles agriculture.
Right.
Let's
Yeah,
clarify
I'm
that.
sure there's all kinds of angles that we're gonna be.
Yeah.
discussing. So,
Yep. Okay. Anything else? We gotta.
Did you have the goods?
You get the correspondence.
Oh,
You got something?
I just was curious if you guys got an answer back from the lawyer on that article that Vinny handed you guys.
No, we have no.
No,
Cause I asked about it. today.
the lawyer that took over is on vacation, supposed to be back Monday.
There was no vacation.
I tell you, I want that job.
So if you get paid like the lawyer, you can take. the next one.
Yeah.
Can I get paid for vacation?
you get a couple $100 an hour and take vacation.
Oh, gee, you guys gonna pay me a couple $100 an hour?
I'm not, boy, well.
You'll be lucky if you get it.
Huh?
I said, you'll be lucky if you get it.
I don't get one.
All right, let's do correspondence.
All right, we got some bids here, we got to open them for the.
Cleaning.
Office cleaning. How many you got?
Two, I think.
I'll give one John for the birthday.
Put your glasses on.
One's the market of mine. Oh, when I get one. That's one take. The whole nine yards. November short of that. I'm trying to say that. Say the kind of things you can use it. Oh, there's a lot of it. Oh, we can lose this one, the whole. Get that again. Yeah, two blank sheets. When you last time.
And Spell recommends me, we don't make decisions tonight, I go over all the details.
Mm-hmm. Willie, did the person that cleans here clean over there too?
Yeah, I don't know if I had a conversation with one person, I don't know if they did put a bid in, but they did just inquire about this, this, the course of work pretty much is all they were asking about.
Yeah, I think so. Me too.
Oh, no, make almost as much as a lawyer.
Yeah.
Almost. Insurance, okay.
You got it back. Don't want to keep the language for the last few days.
I would recommend appreciating the verdict. Or Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Well. Well. Pretty scary.
We're not gonna make a decision tonight. One of them is $250 per cleaning. This building. And one is $100 for each building, plus a spring to all the windows, fall to all the windows. And a $700 total for the spring and fall cleaning. You know, and $100 a month, every 2 weeks, I guess, for these two, so. We'd have to really think about it.
I believe,
Community center's 200.
200,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
300 a week, actually.
but, well, they don't do them every week, though, every other week, I believe.
Well, but it's 300 a clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this office was being cleaned every Sunday, the community center every other week. With the exception of if we needed spot cleanings for,
Yeah.
you know, a couple times a year, I think there was times where we had to have them an extra time. But. Yeah.
Things are going up. Nothing going down. Bruce, you volunteering to clean the office?
No, I'm just curious on how many hours a week does it take to clean this place?
Well, this one estimate was. 1 hour for this office. This building. And 2 hours for the,
At $300?
well, it's $100 an hour.
Half a plan.
Not cheap, cleaner people.
That's almost.
And there was another.
That's our employee.
Now you have.
That's okay than you.
Yeah.
Well.
You pay
So-
great.
Okay,
I'm excited. That's
Yeah.
there you go.
Hey,
All right.
Oh, really? But if you want to correct it, you know.
Yeah.
There's
Never looked
no
before.
the person that's doing it last week.
There's all the numbers, maybe still just having more.
That it?
I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion,
Wait.
wait.
Hmm.
So.
Oh, should it for a comment?
You got this letter that you need to sign. For a law, trying, you know, to. Send a letter to ask the state about lowering the speed limit.
Yeah. We did that, we signed that.
It's not, I thought, we did.
Yeah, she got it, she took it.
Oh, okay. So that's that, right?
That was just for one specific area in town, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we haven't, we'll, if I haven't gonna say, but when we send the letter, we'll also put in that section that you're talking about. From the. Trailhead down through,
For the monument.
yep, because that's speed limit down through there is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I had a talk with Bob Spear
Yeah.
and. You know, my own feeling is DOT screwed up. They sent the application when they were supposed to, they lost it, they found it 8 years later. And then they denied it. I think that's wrong. People have been using it for 8 years. There has not been an incident. Both Oxford County, and the state police said there's been no incidents that they've been called on. So why is the DOT saying no? And they're saying it because it's a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. Well, it's only 50 mile an hour from the school to Lord's Hill.
No, from Lord's Hill,
Oh, from Lord's Hill to.
yeah, just that section.
Yeah. So it's only a short section that is, and then you get 2 campgrounds
Yeah.
and 3 campgrounds and residences and store there. So there's something wrong here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sign, correct, is just the, on the Denmark side of the school, right, where it goes.
No, it's on, just on this side of Lord's Hill Road.
Where's the next sign,
Cool, too.
when you're going into Denmark, there's
Yeah,
another sign that goes to back to 45.
right,
Right.
right. And it goes 45 all the way to Bridge,
With the exception of the village.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
45 and under.
And they really should look at it. If you're pulling out of, on the Saco
Yeah, oh yeah.
with a truck and a trailer, and somebody's coming around the corner heading to Bridgeton, somebody's going in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, from town here, right down through to the.
Yeah.
The school, it should be 40 or whatever.
Mhm.
They deem, it shouldn't be 50.
Yeah, yep. All right, what else here?
All right, and Steve Booker has sent the email requesting that we put the agenda on, posted on the internet, I guess, on the town's site. I don't know, I thought we already did
I
that.
thought we already did too,
Well, we posted on the door out here.
but I think she put it on the website too. She was anyways.
Well, I guess. In case she isn't, should we make a motion to do it?
Let's check on it and see what she's doing first.
Uh,
I'm not
And
gonna
then-
do that.
Cliff's still here, right? You get one of these things on the salt bids?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, that's. Do you get your salt through, Southern Maine Regional Planning now, whatever it is?
It's Easter right now.
Yeah, I know it's from Easton, the company, but who do you get you? Does it go through a bid process?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know when I was in there, the state offered the same program.
Mhm.
And the bid program that we were doing was less money than what the state was offering.
Right.
So it's, something to look into, but don't jump right in and think it's just because the state's doing it, that's the way to go.
Right.
But you got the information.
Yes.
And then, I don't even know why this is important, but. The Brownfield land use ordinance, you know, they're gonna be having a. Oh, when is the meeting?
April 3rd.
What's that on here?
April 30th.
Yeah, they're changing the. Making an amendment to the Brownfield land use ordinance regarding. You know, the. Dimensional requirements and. Put it in here, I guess, just so that everybody know about it. I think it's up to the planning board to post that really, but. But then anyways, they're having a meeting, when did you say it was, April 3rd? It's on the sign up. How much I read the sign?
By law, that ordinance is supposed to be displayed on that counter out front 2 weeks prior to the hearing. And there's nothing there today. And they've already had one public hearing. The public hearing went down in flames because it wasn't ready for a vote. Now, public hearing is the last step before it's voted on, not the first step. They wanted to make it the first step so the lawyer would be there to defend it. And one reason why they wanted the lawyer there to defend them, because some of the stuff that was in there had nothing to do with LD, whatever it is. It was just on short-term rentals, that sort of thing, that had nothing to do with LD 2300 or whatever it was.
It's LD 2003.
Slide it in there. And that's why I'm asking for a copy of that to see whether that is still in there or whether that has been taken out.
I guess you gotta talk to the planning board, find out what's going on.
Like I said, by law, it's supposed to be on that count.
Yeah. Brownfield.
Brownfield Community Center public hearing. I guess this is anything, what we just talked about. And this. Here's your, well, Brian's gone, right? There's the answer right here, we got, it says, this is a request that Alvina sent to Matt about bringing a report on what happened on Blueberry Lane. We haven't got the answer yet, so it has been sent. That's it.
Okay.
All set?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Done.
I have it in a nutshell.
I can find this. Find the little thingy. And.
Oh, okay,
My number and email. Don't.
Oh, good.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joe.